Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel. And today we're looking at a bit of a spooky trick. We are looking at the Haunted Key Deluxe. Now this is not something new, but it is something that it always comes up in discussion around, oh, do we have any spooky tricks for Halloween? Do we have anything that we could do for Halloween? Well, this is, in my opinion, one of the most perfect devices or tricks or utility items to use. And I'm referring to this as a utility item rather than a trick, because I do think this plays better as part of a larger trick rather than a singular piece, and we're going to talk about that during the review. Enough said about that. Let's roll the intro and get straight into it. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about the Haunted Key Deluxe. So what is the Haunted Key Deluxe? The Haunted Key Deluxe is essentially the classic haunted key where you have the key on your hand and it slowly turns over by magic or by ghosts or by psychic power, whatever you want. And I'm gonna show it to you. I know I'm not gonna put a whole spin and a whole presentation on it, but yeah, this is essentially the effect. You would take the key, you would place it on your hand flat, you could even have the key inspected beforehand, and you would show that there's no gimmicks, no electronics, anything. And then you could just show that slowly you can see the key starting itself to move. I'm not touching anything, not moving, I'm not trying to move or anything. The key is slowly rising by itself, it's slowly turning, and you can see that I'm standing as still as I can to show you this. The key on its own is moving by itself. You can see you can even get it to stop midway if you want, and then you can continue and have the key do a full turn by itself, just like that, and this could immediately be handed out. So that is just to show you what the key does. It's of course not the way that I present it, right? Because that's a horrible presentation, but it was just to show you what the key does. So knowing what the Haunted Key is, let's talk about where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get with your purchase. So this is distributed from Murphy's Magic, which means you can pretty much buy it anywhere. It's going to be available at your big retailers, but also your local magic shops or your favorite brick and mortars. You're going to have this probably in stock and readily available. The Haunted Key set will set you back $14.99 USD, $15 only for this trick. And what you get is this box. You get this nice little box in which you can carry around your key. It's a very nice design, little box. You get, of course, your key, which is great. You can look at this key. It looks so good. The key looks absolutely good. The weight on the key is great. It looks antique. It looks haunted. The design on it is incredible. It's even like fake rusted. It looks so good. So you get the key. And then you also get inside, you get your little thing with the instructions at the back, which are with Javier. I believe they're close to 1 hour long, and they go over a bunch of uses with the key, so some different things you could do with it, as well as teach you why this works, how you make it work, and how it's designed to work efficiently. Everything is covered in the video, and yeah, the video is very good. So that is what you get with your purchase. Having said that, now let's get into difficulty. So how difficult is the Haunted Key to perform? Well, as I mentioned a bit in the kind of demo, the Haunted Key is not electronic. It doesn't use any magnets. It doesn't use any fish hooks. It doesn't use any threads or anything like that. The key, for a lot of people that know, works simply because of gravity and human nature, basically, and its design. So basically just the design of the key works with the gravity and the way that our body behaves to accomplish the effect. So essentially, this is self-working, super easy to do. I mean, the move that you have to do, if you even call it a move, because it's basically not a move, is nothing, basically. So the key, if you just know how to place it on your hand and how to put a presentation hook around it, this key works essentially by itself. And what I really like is that the key is really well weighed, which means, is it weighed or weighted? I don't know. Correct me on that. But it lets you be in full control of the speed as well. So if you want the key to literally go like, it can go. If you want it to be like in the demo, where it's like super slow, mysterious, you can even stop it and then you can be like let's try again, even more. You can kind of adjust that with like micromanaging your positioning, which is really nice as well. But overall difficulty, super easy. Now, what about practicality? So how practical is the haunted key? Well, first of all, carrying capacity, all you need is the key. So if you put the key in a pocket or somewhere, you will have it with you and you'll be ready to perform. This doesn't need a table. This can be standing up, standing down. There's no issue whatsoever regarding that. So you can perform it standing up, standing down, no need for a table. Angle-wise, can be done 360. There's no angle restraints here. Inspectability can be fully inspected. There's no reset on the key, right? It just works itself. You just place it back on your hand and you're ready to go again. And yeah, it's repeatable as well. You can just do it from table to table or over and over again. It's going to work fine. And if you are even a bit more ballsy, you could find ways, you could practice ways to have this happen in the spectator's hand. And think about that, the spectator is not going to be moving. So you're just going to be like holding their hand like this, and the key will start to move in their own hand. So that will require a bit more practice and a bit more courage, but you can even do that if you so wish. So practicality wise, very good. Now let's talk about where to perform. So where would you perform the haunted key? Well, I feel the haunted key can be performed pretty much anywhere. You can do this close up, you can do this parlor, you can even do it stage if you have your cameras and everything that you need. However, I think that the haunted key, as I mentioned in the intro, is not something you would do on its own. So the way that I perform the haunted key is part of a spirit slates act. So when I have my spirit slates, I have them on the table and I'm like, okay, let's see if someone can write. And I lift it up and nothing was written on the slate. So I'm like, okay, let's place them again. But this time, let's try and use a conduit to see if we can get someone to write something for us. I take the key, I have it inspected, and I say sometimes, spirits or whatever, depending on the presentation I do on the night, are attracted to this key because this has a very dark past. I do the patter, and then I put it in my hand and I say, let's see if there's someone here that could help us. And then the key starts moving. And then when the key flips around, I say, did you guys hear that? Something was written in the slates. I remove the slates and something is written. So that's how I use it. But if you own any of Jamie Dawes's effects, I feel you could do this with a lot of his effects. You could use the key as a prop to enhance it. If you do any other Halloween type spooky effect, you can enhance it as well. But I also want to mention that this is not just for Halloween, right? Spirit slates and these type of tricks, people say, oh, only for Halloween, or they only use it for Halloween. But if you're like a more bizarre type performer, like Jamie Dawes, he performs this type of magic year round. So this is not just something to perform for Halloween, but you can use this year round. But again, I feel this is best for a prop in another routine rather than just doing the key flipping itself. Even though it's cool, I think putting some texture around it is important, but nonetheless, it can be performed pretty much anywhere. So having said all of that, what are the positives and negatives of the haunted key? And let's start with the negatives. So what are the negatives? The only negative, since I don't think that any product doesn't have any negatives, is that I feel that the key, if you're intending to use it simply as a key turning over, is not such a great effect in my opinion. Maybe to some people that is completely wrong, but I feel this is better as something else inside of another routine. So if you don't own another bizarre or spooky routine, I feel that, you're going to be a bit shallow in what you can do with this. Yes, Javier gives you quite some fun routines in the tutorial that could play around with this, but I feel having some extra props and some extra layers is better, which means that I feel that when buying the key, look at maybe a Jamie Dawes effect and buy that as well in tandem with the key. I think it's going to be much better for you. However, for that, what are the positives? So one, the key is super cheap, $15 for something so well built, something that's going to last you an incredibly long time, probably all your life, with a really good tutorial and some good uses. I feel that this is a steal. It can be done anywhere. It can play on its own if you want, even though for me, I don't feel that's the play, but it can play on its own or part of a bigger act. It can be done anywhere. It's easy to do. It has no angle restrictions. It's practical as well. I think this is just a very, very good product. So having said all that, would I recommend the Haunted Key? And what do I rate it out of 10? Would I recommend it? My my simple answer is yes. I think that whether you're a magician or mentalist, for $15, I think buying this is worth it, because at one point or another, maybe you're gonna want to do something with a prop that's gonna maybe be a bit more mysterious or a bit more spooky, and you'll have the prop with you. And especially for the price, you cannot go wrong. I feel that even if you're never gonna use this, just have this on your desk or something. It looks mysterious, and maybe someone's gonna be like, what's that key? And you can do the effect for him. You tell him, oh, this key is part of blah, 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 and then it's gonna start flipping, right? So yeah, I think that this is 100% worth your money, and I think that this is a must buy for pretty much anyone. Just having it with you at home or somewhere, you're gonna get a use of it eventually. So what do I rate it out of 10? I'm rating the Haunted Key Deluxe a 9.5. It is very, very good, and I think a must-have for any magician or mentalist, especially if you're in a bit more spooky magic. This is a must-buy. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye-bye.